Ladies and gentlemen, in life, we will all face disrespect. Some will question our worth, some will mock our choices, and some will try to bring us down with their words. But the question is, do we respond or stay quiet? Silence is not a sign of defeat. Silence is a response, and sometimes it is the most powerful response. When someone disrespects you, they expect anger, they expect retaliation. But what if you give them nothing? They are left powerless. Words have energy. The moment we react in anger, we give our power away. But when we choose silence, we maintain control. We refuse to let someone else's negativity dictate our emotions. Silence is one of the most powerful responses a person can give in the face of disrespect. When someone disrespects you, they expect a reaction. They expect anger, frustration, or an emotional outburst. They want to see you flustered, disturbed, and affected by their words or actions. But when you choose silence, you deny them that satisfaction. You refuse to play into their negativity, and in doing so, you maintain control over yourself. People often mistake silence for weakness, but in reality it takes immense strength to remain quiet when every part of you wants to respond. It is easy to react, to fire back with words, to argue, to prove a point, but true strength lies in restraint. When you are silent, you are not agreeing with what was said to you. You are simply choosing not to let it consume your energy. You are preserving your peace, and that is something no one can take away from you. Silence forces the other person to confront their own words. When you do not engage, they are left alone with their negativity. It causes them to reflect, to question, and sometimes even to regret their actions. Many times people say hurtful things out of their own insecurities, frustrations, or lack of self-awareness. By choosing silence, you refuse to become a participant in their emotional chaos. You send a message without ever having to say a word. Your self-respect is intact, and their words hold no power over you. Beyond just avoiding conflict, silence allows you to think clearly. When emotions run high, words spoken in anger can cause more damage than intent. Reacting without thought often leads to regret later. But when you stay quiet, you give yourself time to process, to understand whether a response is even necessary. In most cases, the best response is to walk away, to let actions speak louder than words. There is also a deep wisdom in silence. Throughout history, some of the greatest minds and leaders have understood the power of not reacting immediately. They have known that silence can be a tool, a way to turn the situation in your favor. When you do not react, people wonder what you are thinking, what you will do next. It puts you in a position of quiet authority where you control the direction of the conversation without even speaking. Silence also protects your energy. Every time you engage in an argument or defend yourself against disrespect, you expend mental and emotional energy that could be used for something more productive. The more you feed negativity, the more it grows. But when you ignore it, when you refuse to let it touch you, it eventually fades away. People who constantly disrespect others thrive on reaction. The moment they realize they cannot affect you, they lose interest. This is not to say that silence is always the answer. There are times when standing up for yourself is necessary, when addressing an issue directly is required. But in many cases, especially when dealing with people who are simply looking for a reaction, silence is the most powerful stance you can take. It is a mark of emotional intelligence, of self-mastery, of understanding that not every battle is worth fighting. Choosing silence does not mean you are weak. It means you are wise. It means you know that your energy is better spent on your growth, your goals, and your peace. When you rise above petty conflicts, when you refuse to be dragged down by negativity, you prove that your strength is unshakable. You prove that no insult, no criticism, no act of disrespect can shake the foundation of who you are. People will always have opinions about you. Some will praise you while others will criticize you. Some will admire you while others will try to bring you down. But at the end of the day, what they say about you does not define you. You are not the sum of other people's words, judgments, or assumptions. You are far greater than that. The world is full of people who will judge without understanding, who will speak without knowing, and who will assume without asking. They will put labels on you based on their limited perspective, on their own fears, insecurities, or personal biases. They will try to tell you who you are, what you can and cannot do, and where you belong. But no one truly knows your journey, your struggles, or your potential except you. People often speak from their own experiences and limitations. When someone says you are not good enough, it usually has more to do with their own doubts than with your actual abilities. When they say you cannot achieve something, it is often because they themselves failed or never dared to try. Many times, the negativity people throw at you is a reflection of what they feel inside. They project their fears, failures, and frustrations onto others because it is easier to tear someone down than to lift themselves up. If you allow yourself to be defined by what others say, you give them power over your life. You let their words shape your identity, your confidence, and your future. You begin to doubt yourself, to question your worth, to second-guess your abilities. But the truth is, no one else has the right to define you. No one else has lived your life, felt your pain, or fought your battles. No one else knows the strength it took for you to get where you are today. There will always be people who misunderstand you, who misjudge you, who spread false opinions about you. No matter what you do, some people will find reasons to criticize. Even the most successful, kind-hearted, and brilliant individuals in history have faced harsh judgment. But what set them apart was their ability to rise above it. They did not let the voices of others dictate their path. They stayed true to who they were and focused on their purpose. When you realize that you are not what others say, you free yourself from the burden of trying to please everyone. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself to people who will never see your worth, no matter what you do. You stop seeking validation from those who only see you through their own filters. Instead, you begin to focus on becoming the best version of yourself, not for the approval of others, but for your own growth, happiness, and fulfillment. The only person who truly knows you is you. Your worth is not determined by someone's opinion. Your abilities are not defined by someone's doubts. Your future is not written by someone else's assumption. The moment you stop letting the voices of others shape your self-perception, you take back control of your life. You begin to move forward with confidence, knowing that your value does not decrease because someone fails to see it. Words can be powerful, but only if you allow them to be. Just as you can choose to let negativity affect you, you can also choose to rise above it. You can choose to remind yourself that other people's words are just noise, and noise does not define your reality. What truly matters is what you believe about yourself, what you choose to do with your life, and how you continue to grow despite the judgments of others. Every day we wake up with a limited amount of energy. This energy is not just physical but also mental and emotional. How we choose to use this energy determines the quality of our life, our peace of mind, and our overall growth. Yet so many people waste their energy on things that do not serve them, on arguments, on proving themselves to others, on reacting to every little inconvenience. They allow their energy to be drained by negativity, by distractions, by things that do not contribute to their well-being or success. Disrespect, criticism, and unnecessary conflicts are some of the biggest thieves of energy. When someone disrespects you, your natural instinct may be to react, to defend yourself, to argue. But what does that accomplish? It only leaves you drained, emotionally exhausted, and often frustrated. Every time you engage in negativity, you are giving away your power. You are allowing someone else's words or actions to dictate your emotional state, to pull you into a space that disrupts your inner peace. Energy conservation is about knowing what deserves your attention and what does not. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every comment needs a response. Not every insult needs to be addressed. There are people who thrive on conflict, who seek to provoke reactions, who enjoy pulling others into their negativity. Engaging with them does not change their mindset. It only wastes your time and drains your energy. The more you react, the more you fuel their behavior. But when you refuse to respond, When you remain unaffected, you take away their power over you. Your energy should be spent on things that build you, that elevate your mind, that contribute to your growth. When you waste energy on anger, resentment, or unnecessary confrontations, you have less energy for creativity, for learning, for self-improvement. Imagine what could be achieved if all the time spent on meaningless debates or negative emotions was redirected towards something productive. Imagine the clarity of mind, the peace, and the sense of purpose that comes with protecting your energy and using it wisely. It is not just emotional energy that needs to be conserved, but mental energy as well. Overthinking, dwelling on the past, worrying about things outside your control, these are all ways in which energy is silently drained. The mind is constantly processing, and the more you clutter it with unnecessary thoughts, the less energy you have for making clear decisions and focusing on what truly matters. Learning to let go, to detach from things that no longer serve you, is a crucial part of energy conservation. People who master their energy do not allow external circumstances to shake them easily. They understand that their energy is their most valuable resource, and they guard it fiercely. They choose their battles wisely, they prioritize their peace, and they invest their energy in things that bring long-term benefits. They do not seek validation from others because they know that constantly trying to prove oneself is another major energy drain. The need to explain, to convince, to gain approval from those who will never understand is a futile effort that takes away from one's true purpose. Another significant aspect of energy conservation is learning to detach from negativity, not just from people, but also from situations. There are moments in life when things do not go as planned, when disappointments arise, when failures happen. If one spends all their energy dwelling on these setbacks, they remain stuck in a cycle of frustration. But those who understand energy conservation know how to shift their focus. Instead of wasting energy on what cannot be changed, they direct it toward what can be improved. The way energy is spent also affects physical health. Constant emotional exhaustion, stress, and unnecessary conflicts lead to fatigue, anxiety, and even illness. The mind and body are connected, and when mental energy is misused, it eventually takes a toll on physical well-being. Protecting one's energy is not just about emotional resilience, but also about maintaining overall health and balance in life. Mastering energy conservation is not about avoidance or suppression of emotions. It is about intelligent use of energy. It is about recognizing where energy should be invested and where it should not be wasted. It is about understanding that not everything deserves a reaction, that silence can be more powerful than words, and that protecting one's energy is one of the greatest forms of self-care. In a world where words are easily spoken, promises are frequently made, and opinions are constantly shared, the true measure of a person is not found in what they say, but in what they do. Actions have a weight that words alone can never catch. Words can be manipulated, exaggerated, or used as empty reassurance, but actions reveal the truth of a person's character, discipline, and commitment. When someone disrespects you, criticizes you, or doubts your capabilities, the most powerful response is not found in an argument, explanation, or justification. The most powerful response is action. When people misunderstand you or spread negativity about you, the natural reaction might be to defend yourself, to explain your side, to make them see who you really are. But in most cases, words will not change their perspective. People believe what they want to believe. Trying to convince them otherwise often only leads to further frustration. Instead of wasting energy on words, focus on actions. Let your work, your consistency, and your results prove who you are. Over time, actions silence doubt far more effectively than any argument ever could. When someone underestimates you, the best response is to succeed beyond their expectations. There is no need to announce what you will do, just do it. Let your progress be noticed, not because you demanded attention, but because your growth became undeniable. Those who doubted you will be left with nothing to say when your actions speak louder than their assumptions. They may not admit it, but they will see it. People often seek validation through words. They want to be acknowledged, appreciated, and understood, but seeking validation from those who are unwilling to see your worth is a waste of effort. True validation comes from within and from the results of your actions. When you focus on what you are building, when you dedicate yourself to progress rather than proving a point, you naturally gain respect. Not because you ask for it, but because you earned it. Some of the greatest individuals in history have faced criticism, doubt, and even ridicule. Yet, they did not waste time arguing with those who did not believe in them. They kept working. They kept proving their value through what they created, achieved, and accomplished. They let their results answer the doubts of the world. The most powerful individuals are not those who speak the loudest, but those who move in silence and let their success do the talking. Actions have a lasting impact. Words may be forgotten, but what you do leaves an impression that stays. When you show discipline, consistency, and effort, people take notice. They may not say it, but they observe. And over time, even the strongest critics are forced to acknowledge results. The beauty of actions is that they require no explanation. They stand on their own, undeniable and clear. This approach is not just about proving others wrong. It is about proving yourself right. It is about showing yourself that you are capable, that you can achieve beyond what anyone thought possible. The true competition is not with others, but with yourself. Every action you take builds a foundation for your future, shapes your identity, and strengthens your confidence. Letting actions speak also means knowing when silence is more powerful than words. There will be moments when people try to provoke you, to pull you into unnecessary arguments, to make you react emotionally. Responding in anger often leads to regret, while choosing silence and focusing on progress leads to victory. The most powerful individuals are those who do not let small distractions derail their bigger purpose. Success, growth, and self-respect are built through consistent effort, not through explaining yourself to those who will never truly listen. When you dedicate yourself to action rather than reaction, you take control of your life. You move forward while others stay stuck in their opinions and doubts. You create a reality that speaks for itself. The world is filled with noise, opinions, judgments, criticism, distractions, and endless demands for attention. Everywhere you turn, someone has something to say about who you should be, what you should do, and how you should live your life. Society constantly pulls you in different directions, urging you to conform, to react, to engage in unnecessary conflicts, and to prove yourself to people who may never truly understand you. In the midst of all this external noise, the most valuable thing you can cultivate is inner peace. Inner peace is not about avoiding challenges or ignoring reality. It is about developing a mindset that is unshaken by external circumstances. It is about reaching a place where no insult, no criticism, and no external negativity can disturb your emotional and mental state. Many people spend their entire lives reacting to the noise around them, defending themselves against baseless opinions, getting offended by meaningless words, and engaging in conflicts that only drain their energy. But those who prioritize inner peace understand that not everything deserves a response. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every noise deserves attention. When you choose inner peace over outer noise, you take control of your life. You stop allowing the world to dictate how you feel, what you think, and how you react. You become the master of your emotions rather than a slave to circumstances. The ability to remain calm in the face of chaos is a true sign of strength. It takes far more power to remain composed in the midst of negativity than it does to react impulsively. The external world will never be silent. There will always be people who misunderstand you, who judge you, who try to bring you down. There will always be situations that test your patience, that push you toward anger, that make you feel like you need to respond. But when you understand the value of inner peace, you begin to see things differently. You recognize that your energy is precious and should not be wasted on things that do not contribute to your growth or happiness. People who thrive on conflict will always try to pull you into their negativity. They will provoke, criticize, and do whatever it takes to get a reaction. But when you choose peace, you take away their power. When you do not engage, when you remain calm, when you refuse to be affected by their words, they are left powerless. The strongest response to negativity is to rise above it, to show through your actions that you are beyond petty conflicts and meaningless argument. Inner peace is not something that is given to you. It is something you must cultivate. It requires discipline, self-awareness, and the ability to let go of things that do not serve you. It requires understanding that your time and energy are too valuable to be spent on negativity. When you choose to protect your peace, you gain clarity. You begin to focus on what truly matters: your purpose, your growth, and your well-being. The world rewards those who are unshaken. The most successful, respected, and powerful individuals are not those who react to every criticism or engage in every argument. They are the ones who move forward regardless of what is said about them. They are the ones who understand that peace is more valuable than proving a point. They do not waste time defending themselves against people who are committed to misunderstanding them. Instead, they let their actions speak, and they allow their success to silence the noise. When you prioritize inner peace, you stop seeking validation from the outside world. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself to those who doubt you, because you understand that their opinions hold no real weight. You stop chasing approval and start living in a way that aligns with your true self. The moment you realize that your happiness does not depend on external circumstances but on your own mindset, you gain true freedom. Many people believe that peace comes from having a perfect life, from eliminating all sources of negativity, from making sure everyone approves of them. But the reality is, peace comes from within. It comes from knowing that you are in control of how you respond to the world. It comes from understanding that you do not have to participate in every argument, you do not have to react to every insult, and you do not have to prove yourself to anyone. The outer world will always be filled with distractions, opinions, and challenges, but when you choose inner peace over outer noise, you choose to live life on your terms. You choose clarity over confusion, wisdom over impulsiveness, and strength over reaction. When you prioritize inner peace over outer noise, you gain true freedom. You free yourself from the exhausting cycle of reacting to negativity, seeking validation, and proving yourself to those who will never truly see your worth. Instead of being controlled by the chaos around you, you become grounded in your own sense of self. The world will always be loud, full of opinions, criticism, and distractions, but you have the power to decide what deserves your attention and what does not. True strength is not found in how loudly you respond, but in how calmly you rise above it. When you protect your inner peace, you gain clarity, wisdom, and the ability to focus on what truly matters: your growth, your purpose, and your happiness.